What is up guys, Kartak here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. It's been a long time since we did one just because I've been away and I haven't had too much time to playtest the decks. So the first thing we're going to do is the Wargreymon deck because there's actually not too much to change from the previous list. We just adjust some ratios and added some of the new cards. And yeah, let's get right into the deck profile. So for the Digitamas, we're running 4 of the Koromon from BT-14. This is still one of the best starters for the deck just because you'll be able to draw whenever you attack with your stuff since all of them are Greymon or Omnimons. So we're running a few of those. We're running 4 of those. For the level 6s, we are going to be running 2 of the Secret Wargreymon. You can run this at either 1 or 2. I think this is a very solid new Wargreymon for the deck to use. And yeah, it's just a very solid card overall. You can warp this on top of Agumon if you have Tai Chi as well as a 10k Digimon on your opponent's side of the field. So yeah, you'll be able to evolve it for 4 costs, so it's pretty good for warping. It's not hard to do, and it's a nice alternative condition to evolve. And on evolution, you can get raid as well as this Digimon can attack afterwards. So it's sort of like a blitz as well. And also on attack, you'll be able to, if you have a tamer on the field, you can get security check +1 as well as piercing. So this is pretty much keywords the Digimon, at least the red keywords the Digimon. So it's a very strong card, and I think he's definitely going to be splashed in a lot of decks as well. Next, for the other Wargreymon, we're also running 2 of the Wargreymon from BT-12. This is also a really strong Wargreymon. This is mainly used more defensively, but you can attack with this, and then this can be used as a blocker next turn as long as you have the black Tai Chi on the board. So this one also has raid, and on evolution, this card gets 3000 DP as well as reboot. And on both players' turn, when a target is changed, you can make this card active again. So this pretty much lets you use it as a blocker twice, which is pretty solid. Of course, the reboot skill doesn't work after the first turn, so you're going to probably evolve this into a Wargreymon X Antibody. Both of these work really well with Wargreymon X Antibody because you can attack with this, and if you have X Antibody in source, you'll be able to get all the effects with this card first and then activate the X Antibody, and then your Wargreymon X will also have those effects. So it's very good synergy. Next, we're running 1 Wargreymon Ace. We're only running 1 because he's not actually that great, but he is a nice option to have, especially if you go off with your combo and you stop at your Metal Greymon X. You'll still be able to Digivolve into this next turn if your opponent doesn't have a way to pop it, and you can use it as a blocker. So pretty nice. Don't really need too much of him because he is not really used to push for game, but he's used more as like a defensive tool. So 1 should be enough. You can dig for it, and if you don't get it, it's not too big of a problem. If you don't want to run this, you can definitely run another one of these Greymons instead. It's perfectly fine. So next, we're running 2 of the Wargreymon X Antibody. On both players' turn, whenever a opponent's security is trashed, you get a memory +1. And then, at the end of a battle that this card attacked, you can, if you have Wargreymon or X Antibody in source, you can pop something with less DP than this. So most of the time, you'll be attacking with these Wargreymons, and if you have X Antibody in source, you can Digivolve into this, so that you can get pretty much all the effects of your Wargreymons. So definitely a really solid combo, and just really good for removal overall. And if you have security checks, you'll be able to get more memory to hopefully extend your turn for a bit more. So yeah. Or it doesn't have to, your opponent's security doesn't have to be trashed. You can, whenever it's removed, you can get 1 memory. So it pretty much works if your opponent is peeking at cards and whatnot as well. So it's pretty good. So next, we're running 2 of the Omnimons. Omnimon is used as a finisher. It's pretty good in this build just because you have a lot of ways to get memory back after your attacks with your Wargreymons. So potentially it can go back to your turn, and then that way you can slap down an Omnimon just to go for game, or go for extra attack so that you can set up for game next turn. Next, for the level 5 is rank 3 Metal Greymon X Antibody. So on evolution, this card gets +1 security check. And then if you have X Antibody or Metal Greymon in source, you get an extra 3k. So this can swing for a 11k beater for itself, which is pretty good. That way you won't need to Digivolve into your Wargreymon for you to push for game. You can do it at level 5. It's pretty much the same combo that we've been doing since BT-14, because it runs alongside the Metal Greymon from BT-12. This will be your start combo. You want the X Antibody in your source. Attack with this, Digivolve into this. When this card attacks and you raid, you'll be able to plop down a Taichi, a red or black Taichi for free. And then if you have X in source, you can Digivolve into this one. That way you can attack with a 11k, at least 11k base, and then you'll be able to have piercing as well because you inherit it from the Metal Greymon. And then you do 2 checks at least, and if you have Taichi on the board, the red Taichi on the board, you do an extra check. So just a really strong combo that just gives you a lot of advantage overall. And moving on to the level 4s, we're running one of the Greymon X Antibody just because we're only allowed to run one now. It's still super good. So we're running 1 and 1. Next, we're running 3 of the Greymon X Antibody from BT9. This one is not as good, but it still gives you protection, which is nice. So we're running 3 of those. We're also running 3 of the Greymon from BT12. This one is pretty good. Mainly I'm running 3 because as long as you get the first Taichi out, this Greymon isn't going to be as great anymore. Next, for the level 4s, we're running 2 Security Check Greymons. We're only running 2 because there's another Greymon we want to run in this deck, and that is the BT5 Greymon. This one, when you Digivolve on top of an Agumon, you get +1 memory. So if you do evolve for free with this Agumon, you're pretty much gaining a memory. So you get memory for Digivolving. So it's very, very good. Speaking of which, we're running 4 of the Agumon from BT-14. This is the new Agumon, the SR one. At the beginning of your main phase, if you have Taichi on the board, you can Digivolve into a Greymon without paying the cost. So that's why this is so good, because you push this out from your raising area, Digivolve into this, and then that way you get a memory to Digivolve further into your Metal Greymon and whatnot. Or if you draw a really good hand, you can Digivolve on top of this, and then you can Digivolve into the Metal Greymon for 1, which is very, very good. So you pretty much go into your level 5 for free. So it's a pretty nuts combo, and this card had to get restricted. Alright, next for the level 3s, we're running 4 Agumon from B12. Searches for your Omnimons as well as your Taichis, and it also searches for Greymon. So very solid. Of course, you're only able to search for a Greymon or Omnimon and a Taichi. So you can search for potentially 2 cards to add to your hand, and yeah, just really good overall. Next, we're also running 4 of the Agumon X Antibody. So yeah, lots of search power in this deck. Next, we're also running 2 of the Taichis. This one acts security check, so pretty good. And we're running 2 of the Taichi from BT12. This one gives your Agumon or Greymon blocker and 1k, so it's pretty good. And whenever your Digimon would Digivolve into a Greymon or Omnimon, you can rest its tamer to get 1 memory. So further helps you manage your memory better. Just a solid card overall. Next, we're running 3 Cool Boys. This card is just still very good. It helps you search out for your combo pieces and your X Antibodies, which is kind of important. So running 3 of those. If you have space, you can definitely run 1 more if you want. Tamers, the tamer ratios are flexible. I see some people not running 4 Taichis, maybe like 3. Maybe some people running 3. But I think since a lot of the effects do rely on having a Taichi on the board, I think running 4 is a little bit more consistent. Of course, a lot of your Agumons and it can search for Taichis, but I'd rather have one just to be safe. So those are the ratios for my tamers. Of course, running 2 of the X antibody. This one can also be bumped up to 3 if you don't see it enough at 2. But I think with the cool ball ratio, I think you should be able to hit into at least 1 throughout your game. So it's pretty good. And last but not least, we're running 2 of the offensive training. So this is a very flexible card as well. If you don't have the budget to get these, or if you want to run the red memory boosts instead, you can. But I think moving forward, the training cards are going to be replacing the memory boosts just because they're more memory efficient. So for 2 costs, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and then you can add any card of the same color to your hand, and then this card will move to the battle area. So red memory boost adds red, and then you can keep in mind you can also add tamers. So if you see your Taichi, your red Taichi, you can add it to your hand. Of course, you can't add your black Taichi, but you can add your red Taichi if you really need it. And the second effect, the delay effect, instead of gaining memory, if one of your Digimon evolves into a red Digimon, by trashing this card, you can reduce the cost by 2. So that already pretty much refunds this card's effect. Overall, this deck is very solid. It's still super consistent, and obviously this is the Greymon card game, so this deck definitely has the most flexibility. But this is just the way I like to play it. I think this is the most consistent way to play it. Just lets you have a lot of searchers just to get into your pieces, and this deck hardly bricks, especially with Mulligan now. As long as you have a Agumon in your starting hand, you're pretty much set. You're pretty much set. If you have a really top-heavy draw, then Mulligan, and if you still Mulligan and get a top-heavy draw, then that's a bit of a shame. But I think you should be good. Even if you have Agumon and then your opponent raises something really big, you can warp into this one, and then you'll be able to still play the game. So yeah, overall, very fun deck to play, and it's a Greymon deck. So not much else to say about that. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to support the channel, feel free to use the elf links down below. But this is Karu Taku, and I will see you guys next time.